Hello, and welcome to my 2025 recap. Um, I didn't really see anyone make this, I just decided to make it. I realize that life is going by really quick for me, and that kind of scares me. I don't want to lose the progress I've made. Um, I kind of struggle with just rationalizing all I've done. Being proud of what I've done, I make it seem way less than it is. So I'm going to try and upload this once a year, just kind of as a format to keep myself aware of where I was, and kind of like a time capsule, kind of to look back and see what progress I've made, and then the next year I can look back and be like, okay, this is the progress I've made. This is what I can talk about, and that way there's like steady chunks. So that way, and with me doing this, I can just go back. Instead of just taking photos and not knowing where it's from, I can talk about it when it's still pretty recent and know, okay, this is what it's from. Because I've realized that I go back and look at old pictures and don't know where the hell they came from. With this, I can explain it. And I don't have to save on my phone, I just upload it to YouTube. And I figure other people might be interested. This is basically me just saying all the highlights of my year. Not necessarily good, not necessarily bad. Just what's been going on, kind of. What happened in my life. And I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. Sorry, not uncomfortable. I'm going to be talking about quite a bit of stuff. This video is probably going to be quite long. And I'm making this for me. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, this is one of those videos that might get a lot. No, I gotta stop that. This is for me. This is for me to encapsulate all that I am and be able to express these things. Because there's a deep part of me inside that just wants to find someone, or I just want to talk about all this stuff. All of it. And I realize that talking through these things helps with my mental health a lot. Surprise, expressing your emotions is part of a human condition, so I'm trying to do that for my health's sake. At least that's what I tell myself. I'm trying. I know it will benefit me that way, and I'm going to try not to be, I don't get disappointed when it doesn't get views. I have hope that it does, because everyone wants to be special. I don't want to get a bunch of assurance by other people. I just want to do something that makes a difference and helps others the way that things that I've seen helps me. Kind of. It's not that I want to be famous, it's that I want to make a difference. So, with that, this year's been very fuzzy for me. So I might get things mixed up. I'm just a person. So I might ramble, I might backtrack, I might go down different roads and stuff. But I will try and keep it on course without burdening myself too much. So, back in February, I moved out of my parents' place. Let me introduce myself. I am Jalapa. I'm a 20-year-old male in the Midwest that is Christian, and it was homeschooled. Very socially awkward, lots of anxiety, some mental health complications. And that's me in a very, very short nutshell, a very small one. I moved out of my parents' place when I was 19 into this apartment, 2-bedroom apartment by myself. I work at a factory that pays really well. I'm not making 6 figures. It's not even close to that. But for where the job market is right now, it's pretty good. Enough where if I didn't have some debts, I could live comfortably and put some money back into savings. But we'll get into the debt thing later. I moved out because I just, everyone has it. I don't have to explain it to you. Everyone gets the feeling, hey, I need to move out and see what's out there for me. My parents told me not to. It was financially stupid, and it was. It was financially stupid. But I needed this for me. Not everything's about money. Uh, I like the security that money gives me, and I do worry about it a lot. But I know some things are just worth it. So, and so I moved out, and that's when you learn a lot. A lot about life. Let me close this door real quick. I learned that I had a lot of mental health complications that I was not aware of, or at least I could not recognize with a bunch of other people around. I lived in a very small house with a lot of people. And so I moved out, and I was kind of going through it for a couple months. I was like, man, this is taking a while. This is my mental health. This is hard for some reason. I don't even know why it's hard. It's just being on my own. This is tough. And you know, I think it was like a couple of years ago I learned that I had ADHD and started taking meds. So I was on medication that altered my brain. I still am. It helped me stabilize, but it also, with that, unlocked some things about me that I was not quite aware of. I was having a tough go at work too. I was not confident in my abilities, and with the position that I was in, I had to be confident in my abilities. I had to be confident, and I am very anxious, like 24/7. Like even now, I'm anxious. I don't know why, but I am. And with that, I was having a hard time because I was expected to do things, and then when I failed, I would get yelled at, which that was that was really tough mentally, because of just anxiety, and strong dependence on outward validation. So I did not enjoy my job. I hated it. I hated it at the time so much. And after a few months, I wanted to get a cat, because I always loved cats. This does circle background. I'm just laying out a timeline of how this all goes. I'm not going to be one topic to another, just kind of as we go so you can see the full story. So I hated my job, and I got a cat, Frankie. He was a very cute cat, and I loved him. And after getting Frankie, I was on Indeed, and a temp service reached out and was like, hey, we got this job out in this city, like a little bit farther away from you. Do you think that you want to come work with us? You've got the qualifications for your age and what role you're currently in at your other job. Do you want to see about coming and working over here? I was like, yeah, I would love that. I want to get out of this job because I hated it. So I left there. I left that job and went to the new one. And that was kind of rough transferring over. I didn't have to move or anything, but it was like just in another city. That was a bit of drive. It was I believe I had to leave like 50 minutes early to get there, and then it took like 40 minutes back. And it was Panama schedule, so it was very odd, but basically I would work 4 days one week and 3 days the next, 12-hour days. And you would have 2 or 3 day stretches of work and then 2 or 3 day stretches of time off. I realized that schedule did not work for me too well. but I liked the job. So I stayed there until money started getting tight. Um, and then and then uh, after money getting tight, after it got tight, I got my old job back. Um, and that was really tough going back to a job that I hated. But it paid so much better, and I realized being broke made everything worse. So I'd rather just hate my job. And so I went back to the old job. Um, my old job, and I'm still there. So my current job, I went back. They gave me my seniority back, and all the things I had before I left because they needed me back. And shortly after that, I was just starting to save money again. I had like a couple $100. Shortly after that, my car messed up. It was a couple $100 to repair, and it was annoying. But what made it so much worse was that Frankie, my cat, was sick. When I was at the adoption center, they told me that he was FIV positive. I was like, oh, okay. What is that? And they were like, oh, it means he gets a little more sick a little more often, and he is contagious to other cats. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I just want one cat, so that works fine. I was like, oh. And they were like, oh, okay, that's fine then. So I got Frankie, brought him home. I did not know that it means he has a much higher chance of getting cancer. They can go their whole lives and never be affected by it once, or they get cancer. There's really not much of an in between. And Frankie had cancer. After getting him, I realized I had some unchecked anger issues. I didn't do anything too drastically, but there was a couple situations where he was not being nice, and I took things a little too far. That was hard. That's because it's hard to say, I feel bad about this man. This hurt me when I hurt him some. Uh, there's really no defense for that. I've talked to some friends and family, and they say it's not as bad as I'm making it, but it's not bad. I make it sound worse than it is, but it still hurt me that I hurt him some when I could have been calmer. And then before I could kind of make amends, he died. That was tough. That was really tough. Losing my cat, my car fucking up, me going into even more debt, and working a job that I hated. That sucked. A lot. I don't contemplate, but that was probably the closest I've gotten. Those were rough days. Those were bad. And a couple months prior, I lost my grandpa. It was kind of unexpected. All of this progressed over a few months, but it felt like a matter of days. He had stage 4, and it went to his brain. And he he came out, and it was removed. We were like, oh, okay, so he's good now. He was not. Due to dozens of complications, and the fact that he just was not the same, and with how many medications they gave him, he could not really communicate with us. We were left with two choices: keep him going and hope by some miracle he comes out of it fine, while knowing that he's probably suffering, or we let him go. Say we don't want to try to see if there's a miracle. We want him to go. And we let him go. That was rough. I never really faced death growing up. I was too young to process stuff when I did, and then I just went on a long stretch of everyone being fine. And I still haven't processed it. I have a lot of weird coping mechanisms, and I still haven't fully sat down and processed that. That was difficult. Along with family complications for the rest of the year, it's been kind of tough. It's been one hell of a roller coaster this year. There's a lot of good things. I just wanted to kind of give an overview of how the year kind of went for me. Which I can't say it was a good year or a bad year. It was a year. It had so many good things and so many bad things that happened, or should I say just things that happened that grew me rapidly. To the point that it kind of feels like when you were young and you felt like your fingers hurt because you could, or like certain muscles hurt because you were growing. It feels like growing pains. It feels almost identical to that. Even the good hurts. Because it's incredible. You have those good days, but then you have those bad days, those really bad days. But some good things. I don't want to just leave this on a sour note, because I just wanted to kind of get out of the way to start talking about other things that I want to talk about. Some things that are important to me and that I enjoy. So, if you see that big Final Fantasy sword over there, I went to conventions this year. One back in February and one back in April. Those were fun. I went out and did things. I went out with a couple friends. I went out with some of my family, and we went and just had some fun. One of them was a few hours out. Another one that's pretty substantially big was only like 30 minutes away. So we went to those, and that helped me kind of just get out of my head some. And this year, I've had a buddy that I've started hanging out with, and he's a big camping guy. We would go camping. I think I went camping with him a few times this year, just out on his remote property. We would just sit there, and that's when I kind of I tried some new things that were very fun. got out of my comfort zone. And actually, recently, I took Thanksgiving week off because I always do, just for a mental health week every year. And we, if you can see that beaver picture back there, that was from a small town that we went to in New Mexico. I traveled more than 10 hours, I'd say, to New Mexico because I wanted to see the New Mexico stars. And just, it was a random road trip. It was Tuesday, and I just randomly decided that day that I was like, hey, I want to go to New Mexico. Fuck it, why not? So I got my friend, and that night we just sailed off. We stopped after a few hours and just fell asleep. We wanted to get it started, so that way we weren't waiting to get all our stuff and start driving later in the day the next day because we only had a limited amount of time. But we started out, and we got there, and there was a lot of cool things. I stood on top of a dormant volcano that was like 8,000 feet elevation or something. I could see the Rocky Mountains from New Mexico. It was awesome. And then the night sky, I chose Thanksgiving week to go out to the desert. So I spent like half an hour looking at the stars, and I was like, damn, it's cold. So I just fell asleep. So at some point I want to go back out there, probably in the spring or maybe summer instead. But, I went out there. We got some really cool pictures of just sunsets and like signs and all sorts of things. He's a very cool dude. So I went out and did that recently, and it was just a scratch. I've been wanting to. It's just an itch that I've been wanting to scratch for a while. Just doing something randomly, just taking a random ass road trip out. And it was really cool. But something that I've recently been going through is kind of just focusing on mental health a lot more than I did in the past. And what I mean by that is due to situations I grew up in, I developed self-diagnosed, but it sounds like everything exactly what I have, but it is self-diagnosed, so I might be wrong. It sounds like I have DDD, derealization dissociative disorder. It might be dissociative derealization disorder. It's one of the two, flipped around or something. But basically, it means you are not part of your body. It feels like you're watching a show play. Sure, you have choices, but it doesn't feel like you are making them. You're just kind of there. You're not choosing anything. And everything's kind of skewed and different. Your brain feels kind of fuzzy. And things just look different than they actually are. It's very hard to explain. You're like, well, how did you not know this? When you grow up with it, you get used to it. This is not something that like, oh, I deal with for a few hours a day. This is my life. And why I bring this up is I was listening to a song a couple weeks ago, and this is one of the important things of the year for me, is this song called Alive. This song right here, called Alive, by Dabin and Ruin, Dabin and Ruin, Runn. It's the acoustic version. And I heard this because of one of my friends. He recommended a playlist, and then I found another playlist that had this song in it. As soon as I heard this song, I knew it was important to me. it's just in the song it talks about not feeling like you fit into the moment, not the crowd, not the world, the moment. You are not here, and you just want to feel alive. Sorry, got neighbors, so you might hear that for a bit, but this talks about feeling alive, just not feeling alive and finally letting go and letting yourself just exist. Not overthinking what other people think of you, not overthinking how you're portrayed. And this seems like entry level stuff, you know? This is 14 and I'm deep level stuff. But this is something that I've been fighting with. It is something deep inside of me that has just recently started to poke its head out, and I've been able to kind of start to understand it a bit more. I haven't been able to fix it, but I did have a moment where I was just listening to the song, sitting there, really focusing on it, getting into it, listening, feeling every part. And then I was there. For the first time in my life, there was no overthinking. There was no anxiety. There was no depression. It was just me. My eyes could see. I could think about the things I wanted to without feeling like there's a million different things running in my head. I was just there for hours. I recorded a video because I was afraid that I would lose it once I fell asleep and woke up. And I ended up losing it. I wasn't able to replicate it again. I don't know exactly how it started. I think I focused so much on just wanting to be there, and just a combination of things. I don't know, but it just clicked and I was there. That moment kind of changed me as a person. And you hear that a lot. I've never really experienced something like that. When people said that changed me as a person, I never really understood. This changed me. It changes how I see how I exist and what I have to work towards. I don't want riches. I don't want fame. I want to exist. To sit there and just be. To just live like a person. And that was really weird, realizing I was just there. I don't know if it's because I intake a lot of media. I'm constantly watching YouTube or listening to music, and if I'm not, I'm on a move doing something. Maybe it's just because I can't sit there in silence. And that's tough to deal with, because that means I gotta sit there in silence, bored. And usually when I do that, I just go to sleep. I just get so bored, or like my mind starts running even more wild that I get overwhelmed and just go to sleep, because that's kind of how I function. That only happened a couple weeks ago, so I don't know exactly what will come from that. That'll be a 2026 recap video, but I'm hoping I figure it out. I don't expect life to be perfect, and I'm not expecting like 24/7 I'm fully aware of where I am and what I want to do. I just want a little bit of peace, to just feel like I'm here, awake. No matter what medications I take, or how much water I take, or what breathing I do, it just feels like I'm not quite there. It feels like I'm half asleep the whole time. That my body's detached from me. It just does stuff. I'm shaking my leg right now and I'm not even doing that. It's just happening. I don't know where that's going to take me, but I did recently start going to therapy. So we'll see where that goes. My doctor recommended me that I do it, and it's pretty difficult dealing with that. I did one session so far. I have another one next week. This week. It's Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday. So this week, I have another session. It'll be a virtual one, and then because that's the only time that he has spare, and then we'll be doing physical ones every couple weeks or so, which is how frequently I wanted it. So that's like kind of a recap of my mental health and where I've kind of been. I've also hung out with a lot of friends, just kind of been hanging out and dealing with the fact that I think that people only hang out with me out of self-pity or something. And also I've been learning that just because people don't ask you questions about your life doesn't mean they don't think you're important. That's just how conversations go. So just, I take everything the worst it can be, when in reality it's probably the best it can be. It's probably them just wanting to talk about something else. They're not ignoring me. They talk to me just fine. I just overthink things. So I'm working on these things. We'll see how it goes. I will say that I've been more aware of my situation and just life in general than ever. I spent 8 years since I was like 13 and I'm almost 21. Just trying to breathe and exist. Just sit there without any mental health complications, without anxiety or depression or disassociating. Just sit there and be. That's difficult. Always has been. But I finally made some progress after 8 years. And I'm not going to let this go. I am a depressed individual by nature, but I am a stubborn motherfucker. And I won't stop until I get what I think is truly valuable in life. I don't pretend or try to set monetary or physical values on things that ultimately don't matter. I'm here so life is good, not the things I have in life is good. I will continue to do that because that's what I value in life. And I'm growing rapidly. It's crazy how quickly I'm just changing into someone else, but still being the same. I'm not necessarily scared. It's just a few years ago, I was just a kid that would sit on his computer and do nothing. His laptop and do nothing for days at a time. And now I've gone through multiple different jobs, have a high-paying job, have friends go on camping trips, road trips, Comic-Cons, moved out and have my own place, have a car, and am working through expanding and growing willingly. I'm not letting myself being consumed by, or just being rotten flesh that's just sitting there, just a pile of meat that's just sitting there and doing nothing. And I'm starting to learn what self-love is. It's not lazy to relax. You're not bad for not doing something. And you're not a loser for failing. And you set yourself too high for expectations. Spread yourself too thin. I'm starting to find my limits and my boundaries, and I'm starting to let people know kind of where I sit on situations in my comfort zone and who I am. I am making a personality for myself. And I'm not just trying to make personality for personality's sake. This is who I am and who I am developing into. And that's pretty cool, in my opinion. I am not like anyone else. And I don't use that with I'm better than everyone else. I use that as I've got a lot of stuff still to learn, but I am growing and I am expanding. I am an individual that is becoming who he's meant to be. That's cool. So if I had to sum up this year in one sentence, what would I say? After talking through all of that, so I have a clear idea of all of that, what would I say in one sentence? A year of foundational personal growth. I am building the foundations to who I'm going to be in the future. I have a feeling, I'm 20 years old, and I have a feeling that this is not even close to who I will be, how I will see myself in 5 years, in 10. I feel like the world's always going to end. I feel like my time's running out, and I feel like I'm just wasting all the time, and I feel like everything's crashing around, and I feel like with how all the economy's going and my religious beliefs, it feels like the end is nigh, the end is nigh. But if I step back and believe that I will be fine until I'm dead, until I die, I will die at 80 or 70 or whatever, I still have so much life left in me. And that's a big breath off that's a big weight off my shoulders. I'll be fine. I'm behind on a couple things in certain situations, but that's okay. I've been fine so far. I've made it just fine through life so far, so I'll be okay. Now, with all that about the mental health stuff, I can start talking about some cool things that happened. I am a fan of merchandise and expressing myself through physical items. I love it. I love finding something that I enjoy and sharing it with others physically. Being able to express to them by showing them an item that conceptualizes the whole idea of something I'm interested in. As you saw, this video that conceptualized me learning to associate again, being part of the world. Now, that's not quite what it is. My other things are way more basic. So the shirt, Fifth Word Came, they had a great album that I enjoyed, Lonely God, and it's really good. I'm not too much into I'm terrible with genres, so if this pisses you off, I'm sorry. I think it's metal. I'm not too big of a fan of metal, and I'm not pulling up the album every day listening to it on repeats, but sometimes when I just am in the mood for metal, I'll pull up the album. And some of my friends are really big fans of the album, so I went to a concert and got some merchandise. Pretty good, I like it. Same thing with Avatar. They took me out there, had a great time, bought some merchandise. Really cool. And if you can see back there, right there, it says Inertia from one of my favorite artists ever, Grandson. That was my first concert, and that was by myself. I really enjoyed it. It was just really fun, and then I learned that I really like concerts, so I just started going. And that was fun. What other things do I have over here? You can see right here the Unus Annus hoodie. You see the little emblem there? That's Unis Honest. For those who don't know, it is a channel that was made back in 2020. Yeah, 2020. By Markiplier and Ethan Nestor, aka Crank Gameplays. And they made a channel where they were going to upload every single day for 365 days or 1 year. And in Latin, 1 year is Unis Honest. And I did not get merchandise from them when they did that. So I went on eBay and bought a hoodie from them. I believe it was $160. And it's got a little bit of a hole, but I love that hoodie so much. I don't wear it often because it is getting kind of old and I don't want to just wear it around and get it ruined. But they were a huge part of my life for a bit. With a kid who was very sheltered and did not have a whole lot, being able to be the kid that after watching Unis Honest and helped me like conceptualize I've only got a limited amount of time on this world, going to a job and paying for that years later with like a full-time job, my first full-time job, that was really cool. They laid kind of a foundation for just existentialism for me, kind of just coming to terms with existence in its whole. So I love that hoodie. Now, not all of this stuff is going to be from this year. This is just kind of, this is an introduction. I am talking about stuff from this year, but this is also an introduction to who I am as a person. Next year, it'll just be stuff from 2026. But for this year, it'll be a lot of stuff from 2025, but some stuff from my past that kind of show you who I am. If you can see up here, this is a ski mask and a little hat. I went skiing last year for a couple months. I do not have the funds this year, but there is a ski resort about an hour away from me, kind of. And it is very cool. I learned that I really, really like skiing. It's just a little bit expensive and I don't have money for that, but that is a hobby I want to get into more. Very fun. If you see that mask right there, that's a Warhammer 40k mask. I'm not personally a fan of that. It's just a lot. But that was from a Comic-Con that I went to, along with a few other of these items. But I just got that because it looked cool. I wanted to wear a mask, and I didn't have a mask. Same thing with this beanie. I got that from Comic-Con. There's my headphones to represent I really enjoy music. Big fan. Might talk about that in a bit. Here's my VR headset. I played with a lot of like real life friends in VR chat. And it just kind of developed some of my personality, like what kind of aesthetic I enjoy, like the vibes, what specific things, soft music, kind of like, it just helped me relax. Going into these worlds, it helped me forget about my anxiety for a bit. It didn't cure it, but it helped me forget, which was really cool, just being able to be there with friends. Especially after moving out, being by myself. I didn't really have to filter myself or kind of like be afraid if someone's gonna walk into a weird conversation or something. But, and Beat Saber. I really enjoy Beat Saber, just in general, because I love music. Here's a bottle of water. That is an anime collector's item. This one guy just sells anime water at a convention. I was like, sure, I'll get that. This crochet triceratops. I'm bad with dinosaur names. I'm not that autistic, but my mom made that for me. Handmade that. It's crochet for me, and I love that thing. I leave it downstairs on my lamp shelf usually. But that's really cool. I enjoy that a lot. What are some other things? Magic the Gathering. I fucking love Magic the Gathering. I've gotten into it recently. It's super fun. I love playing with my friends. I don't love it enough to go play with sweats or people who don't know how to use deodorant. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but I'm not taking the chances. I don't love it that much, but I fucking love playing with friends. It's so fun. And then on top of that box, you can see a little tiny free run. I bought that from a Comic-Con too, and that just sits on the shelf, and it's just free run reading a book. Very cool. Love free run. What else? So, Beaver. Right here is Epic Mickey Wii Edition. That was one of the very few things that I truly enjoyed from my childhood. The Wii was amazing. I've got so many games I love from that. Epic Mickey is probably one of my favorites. The art style was so fucking good. I love it. I've never really seen anything else with that art style, and it's just something that I can't get over. It just looks so good, and just like the kind of, what is it? I guess, movement? No, it's like the mechanics, that's the word. The mechanics of the game, there's some really cool, unique things I've never seen in any other game. It's really cool. I fucking love it. That game's so good. If you haven't tried it, try it. Like, go get a Wii. They're fucking cheap. They're dirt cheap. You can buy like a Wii Mini for $80 on eBay. Get a game stick and a nunchuck, and then just buy Epic Mickey. It's also pretty damn cheap. Right between Epic Mickey, right next to it, is this mask thing right here. That was from the first convention that I ever went to. I think it was back in 2022 or something. I can't quite remember. But it was a hand-painted. I ordered a picture with this guy, the mask. That is Locke from Nightmare Before Christmas. It was just a mask that I found in a Hot Topic that I really liked, and Halloween was popping up, so I just picked it up and wore it around. And so I went in and I dressed up, like, I got a whole cosplay for it. It was super cool. I made it look like a showman with that mask, kind of just him grown up version. It was really cool. I went to the contest and all that. But anyways, I paid an artist to make that for me. It's hand painted. It's kind of textured too. It's really cool. I didn't like it at first, but I've grown on it, and it's just kind of like, it's a moment for me. It's just something that says, hey, I did this thing. I went out and I've done the thing, which was really cool. If you see this book over here, it says D&D. I have a campaign going with friends, which is really cool. We try to play once or twice a month, and I've been having fun with that. I didn't think I would like it, but wow, I love it. I'm trying to start another session with other friends. They want to do online. I'm not a fan of that. I know for sure I wouldn't like online because I hate calls and stuff. It just feels like I can't really visualize I can't really portray myself properly to other people. I have a thing about that. I just don't like it. I don't feel like I can pick up on the other, like, it's hard to only pick up on a whole person when it's only their voice. So I just don't like those things. I like physically being there with you. But D&D, that was fun. We've got another year or two on the campaign. We just started last year. It's a longer campaign. We just kind of wanted to try it out. Right here is Llamas with Hats Blu-ray edition. Now, some of you might be like, what the fuck? Why is there a Blu-ray of an iconic, like, 13-year-old series from YouTube? That's because they did a Kickstarter recently. Jason Steele, the creator, he created a Kickstarter for an epilogue. And you might be like, oh man, I fucking hate when people do that, when they bring back animations because it was famous, or like bring back things from the dead just to milk it some more. He made it very clear that he understands that's how a lot of people would feel, and he's trying not to do that. He brought it back because he genuinely feels like he could give it a really good ending. And he did fucking fantastic. It's actually good. That's not just cope or like nostalgic. It's actually really good. It's a completely different vibe while not ruining the series. It's really good. I was a Kickstarter on it. And I backed it quite a bit. had some spare money, and I really wanted to see it succeed. So I backed it, and I actually got a screenplay of it. I got some wallpapers. I got a little can't remember what it's called, but it's like a little book, like a funny little book about cooking hands or something. Some some stickers. I think they're called Zines, whatever that is. Um, a like 12 by 18, I think 11 by 18, high definition, well, high quality picture signed by Jason Steele, hanging in my living room. Um, and then the Blu-ray. I do not own a Blu-ray. That's just cool. And on top of that, I also got my face on Face Mountain, which is in there. So trust me, you'll know what Face Mountain is once you see it. My face is on there. You can't really tell unless you really look at it. But like if I pointed out to you, you could see it. But basically, the guy with the biggest open mouth, that's me, which is really cool. I just enjoyed that a lot. So I've canonically been eaten by Carl the llama. Like I was eaten by him, canonically, which is really fucking cool. That's one of the highlights of this year was just me being part of it. I think it might have been last year. I can't quite remember. Yeah, it was last year. But yeah, I just canonically got eaten by Carl the llama. It's can't say that every day. That's really cool. It just makes me smile every time. It's so fucking cool. And then you can see a candle right back here, maybe. Yeah, you can see it right there. I've just recently been getting into like smells and stuff like that, and like just setting the mood, kind of. I've just like the candles and stuff kind of signify that. The dehumidifier, I've just kind of been trying to help myself calm down, and me realizing that this is my place. This is mine. Holy shit, this is mine. Huh. Holy shit. I think I might have gotten it again. A little bit of the piece. All of a sudden. It's not as intense as it was, but I've just kind of realized. I've done a lot this year. I got far. I went to different states. I've tried out a bunch of new things. I've met so many cool people. I've been taking so many new medias and grown so much. And this is mine. This apartment, this place is my place. This is mine. I don't have to let anyone in here that I don't want to. Why does this always happen before work day? I've got to work tonight. Why can I only find peace when I have to sleep? I mean, I'm gonna stay up. Just kind of enjoy life. I can't say I'm all the way here, but I'm way more than I was. So, there are a few other things. That flower is from a wedding that I attended of one of my buddies. That dragon is also from a Comic-Con. That little container right there is New Mexico grass. That pill bottle there is just my medication. It's to signify that I am taking the steps to help myself. Do I have anything else? I think I've shown most of it. There is this wallpaper over here. Well, this video. It's hard to get a wallpaper, but it is a wallpaper of my favorite game. Emotional game, I guess. It is the beginner's guide, and it is probably the biggest reason why I have grown so much emotionally. This video kind of just blew my mind how in-depth life really is. It's made by the same guy who made the Stanley Parable, Davey Wreden, and it is. I watched Jacksepticeye play it when I was I think 17, and I go back and rewatch this every 6 months to a year. It's, if you watch it, you'll know what I'm referencing. It's kind of a lamppost for me. It's very hard, very, very, very difficult to explain what exactly makes it so good. I'm still unwrapping things to this day about this game. I would go watch it. It's 2 hours long and it will give you so much to think about, way more than anything else I've ever digested emotionally. So I go look at that. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I really tried to put some effort into this. I brought all this stuff up. I don't usually have my table there, although I do kind of like it. I might just leave it there. Because I think that would be cool for a project table. It's just like a simple table. Maybe eventually get a second PC on there. I'm planning on upgrading my main PC eventually, so maybe the secondary one I'll put over there. And then I'll have 2 monitors, one for a clean wipe with exploration. And just I plan on making a lot of projects. There's a lot of things that I want to do next year digitally, creative side, make games and stuff. So I think this might be my project computer, and then I'll use my main computer. This one has 3 monitors, and so I will just try and leave those. I will try to maybe move those over there, but we'll see. I don't have a whole lot of money right now, as I never do. Yeah. The year has been a pretty substantial one for me. It feels like every year is more powerful and more growth related than the last. And it's kind of crazy to me about that. What I want to take away from this for 2025 is that I did good with helping myself mentally. I did good with setting boundaries and realizing exactly what I expect out of life and what I expect other people to expect out of me. I did good with just being okay with existing and being happy with myself. I did great with going out and doing things. And although there was a lot of hard things that happened this year, not just out of my control, but like things that I did that I wish I hadn't. Just learning from forgiveness and learning about loss and learning about um, depression and existence. That grew me a lot. So I did great with all of those. I'm still growing, learning. I've got a lot of things that I have planned eventually, but I also just want to learn to relax. A few things I want to achieve next year is I want to. This is not a New Year's resolution; those never work for me. But I want to see about going skiing next year a few times. I want to go to Japan next year. I want to focus on my relationship with God a lot more. I've been very, very, very inactive in that part. I want to spend more time with family. And I want to become a little more financially stable with my income and try and clear some debt. I did say I was going to talk about debt. I just had my car payment, and I have $2,000 on my credit card. Not by my choice. The vet was very expensive when Frankie got sick, and I didn't have money, so I had to use the credit card just to figure out what's wrong with him. But I want to work on that, work that down. With all that, that is 2025 in a nutshell. I would like to say, if anyone watched this, I know that you guys might be like me, where you see a long video with a very, very like blanket title on it. And you're like, this looks awesome. And I don't know how many people are like that, but if I saw a video like this with just a random dude sitting in a room for an hour and it's just like a random year on it, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to watch it. I might click off later. But if this interested you in just learning who I am and what kind of year I had, thank you. Thank you for watching. Spending a whole hour of your life watching this. You might be the only person, or maybe no one ever watches this to this part. Maybe this is just me in a room. And no one ever sees this moment again. This moment does not exist to anyone ever again. But if you did watch this point, thank you for watching. I'm just glad that you were interested in this. And I'd like for you to also do this. You don't have to. You don't have to go all out like I did. But just make a little something. Not necessarily to make you feel grateful now, but so you can have it later in the future for when you are grateful for the things you have. Just as kind of like a memory. You know, you don't have to be grateful. You can say the cons too. You don't have to make it seem great. You can just say the bad parts, because they'll just make you more grateful in the future when you do come back to it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully next year will be a year of more growth and just being in the moment for me. That's really all I want out of next year, is just to be more attached to life. And hopefully to stop stressing over money. I'm hoping to clear up a few things. I don't need a whole lot of money. I just want to be out of debt. And just to have a little bit of money coming in for savings every month. So that's 2025 in a nutshell. I think I'm going to just slap this on a new channel and upload once a year. Call it good. So I wish you all the best. I hope 2025 was good for you. I hope the bad parts at least helped you grow in some way or benefited you in some manner. If they did not, then they did benefit you, because you learned that life just sometimes fucks you. So, congratulations. I'm sure next year is going to have a lot of have a lot of not so fun parts to it. But also I'm sure next year will have some good parts to it. So we will see. I wish you a great next year. and don't let the media feed into you, making you think that the economy's fucked and that we're all going to die or something. We're on total brink of war. And I started paying attention to wars and stuff like, oh, when are we going to war back in 2016? And I haven't seen anything massive yet. It's just not worth worrying about. Every day has enough. As Jesus Christ said, and I'm paraphrasing here, as Jesus Christ said, every day has enough of its own worries. So focus on today. Don't worry about tomorrow, because you can worry about tomorrow when tomorrow's here. So just keep that in mind. Just try to stop worrying as much. And with all of that, and this video being an hour and 6 minutes long, I wish you all a great new year and all a great 2026. I'll upload some point December next year and show you guys all the cool things I did. So I wish you the best. God bless and goodbye.